Hey guys, so I just want to do a quick little comparison here between the J5 Pro 2017 and the Xperia XA1, a bezel-less wonder. Very attractive phone actually from Sony, and I want to see how it compared here against Samsung's latest mid-range phone. Both of them are about the same price. I think the XA1 can be had for a little bit less, about €200, so quite interesting to see which is the better phone here. We're just going to start them up. So as I said, you are getting a very nice display on the XA1, which all flagship Sony phones should be based upon. Hopefully it will be on the XZ1, which is rumoured to be coming at IFA, which will start up first. Oh, so the J5 Pro does start up first here, and you are getting the Exynos Octa in the J5 with 3 gigs of RAM versus I think a MediaTek processor in the Sony with 3 gigs of RAM again. Sony does give you Type-C connector at the bottom, so that is something quite nice. And you're also getting the Sony UI here, which is very nice and stock-like. Let's just check the brightness. It seems to be a little bit dull. So yeah, you can see the brightness on the max there, and I don't think the brightness can quite match what you're getting with the Samsung, but that is because of the display differences. It is quite a nice display nevertheless on the XA1, which I think is full HD as well. So let's just compare them here, the speed, see how they do stack up. Both running the latest Android, and you can see it's very close so far. A little bit different in terms of the animations, but I think the J5 is pulling ahead now. Let's just do some apps that we do have. Facebook. So we'll do that one again for fairness. Let's try it again. Wow, this is quite confusing because obviously you don't have an app drawer button with the J. And again, I think the J was slightly faster there. Now I was expecting the Sony actually to be ahead at this point, but clearly not. You can see again the J very snappy. And let's try another one. We have Hungry House. So it seems that the J is actually doing very well here, considering I thought the processor in the XA1 was quite decent, even though it is a MediaTek obviously, which I do tend to not like, but nevertheless I'm very impressed with what Samsung's done with at least the apps opening speed, not the multitasking though. So with the XA1 you are arguably getting a much better camera arrangement, which I think is like the same sensor as the old Xperia Z series, like the Z3 etc. So that should blow away what you're getting with the J series. You're also getting a physical like shutter button as well, so you know, if you're looking for your camera kind of side of things, then maybe the XA1 is the better choice here. The only thing I would say is that the XA1 has a very small battery in comparison to the J series. I definitely think Sony could improve there. So we got some ads on the J5, so I'm not going to count that one. And let's have a look at another one. What else do we have? Do we have Real Racing? Yes, we do. So both of them are starting to slow down now. I've opened up 3 games. But I think the J5 has won overall in terms of the apps opening here quite conclusively, which I wasn't expecting. You know, I was expecting Sony to dominate. We're just going to have a look at the Wi-Fi. I can still hear some sound coming from one of them. So yeah, you can see MediaTek processors are no good when it comes to the Wi-Fi. Consistently poor performance, which I have noticed. So quite conclusive here for the Wi-Fi tester. Nearly twice the speed on the J. Shall we give the XA1 another chance? Might as well, for fairness. So yeah, you know, that again shows you the performance here not very good when it comes to the Wi-Fi, unfortunately. And you know, I definitely think that Sony could have put a decent Snapdragon processor in there, like the new 6 series, for a little bit of future proofing, but clearly not. How does that translate into the web browsing? We're going to have a look. So GSM Arena on both of them. And let's go. So quite comparable here. Obviously Sony doesn't have its own browser, but good overall start. So Daily Motion. Let's go. And again, I think the J was a little bit snappier loading the videos there a little bit, but not a huge difference actually, so I'm going to call that one a draw overall. And we can just round off here with some multitasking, which I think Sony might come back on. So where is the weather gone? Can't find it. So we'll start with phone. Yeah, so both of them reloading here quite disappointingly straight away. Let's see the camera. So J with that one. Yeah, you can see they're both really slowing down here. And you know, it begs the question, why would you even bother when you could get a old flagship for probably the same price, or like a lesser known brand like ZTE Axon 7, something like that, for a little bit more. So let's just try Play Store. So yeah, you can see even though the Sony does reload quite a few, it's still doing better than the new J5. But then again, you know, they're both pretty horrendous in terms of the memory management here, so they could definitely do with some improvement going forward. I doubt both of them kept any games in memory, yeah, as you can see. So I'm not even going to bother anymore with the multitasking on this video because it's very poor. But I think you could see overall the J did win when it came to the Wi-Fi and the apps opening at first. I'd say that the Sony wins when it comes to design. You know, as I said, it's probably the most attractive handset for €200 at the moment. Very nice and sleek, but it's just the performance really which doesn't match the looks, which is a bit of a shame. As I said, in terms of the camera, you're probably better served with the XA1 because it's coming with a similar kind of sensor here as the Z3, and based upon some shots that I have taken with it, it does very well. But the aperture is obviously lower on the J5, so the J5 might be a bit better in terms of the low light. Obviously you have a front-facing flash as well on the J5 for your selfies, etc. So I think that about covers it between these two. Which one would I, consider over each other? Tough to say. I'd say if you're a camera person, then the XA1 is probably the better choice. But if you're looking for longevity, the J5 is probably a better choice, or another phone completely. You could probably get, as I said, an Axon 7 or an older flagship for a similar kind of price as these two, and they'd probably give you better performance overall than these at the moment. The software doesn't feel finished on either of them. So yeah, just a quick little video here, and I'll be doing some other videos, so do check for those, and I'll see you in the next one.